Hello and welcome to this video series on the Indian Express News Analysis. So today's date is 24th October 2018 and here we discuss all the important articles from the editorial, opinion and the explain page. So let's begin. So the first article on the left that you see is basically Supreme Court has directed that you are supposed to burst crackers only between 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Also, you're only supposed to use the green crackers which will be available for selling. So these green crackers are basically developed by CSIR, known as Council of Scientific Industry and Industrial Research. So they have come up with these crackers which are basically less emission producing and less pollutants. So we'll discuss this in detail. This is related to the match fixing in cricket, but not so important, but we'll discuss all the important cricket bodies. This is related to the artificial moon, which will be launched by China by 2022 and over the province of Chengdu. And we'll understand the the technical things which are behind this artificial moon. Why are we sending this moon? This is related to Sabrimala aftermath. As you know, the verdict has been out about the Sabrimala by 4:1, saying that women from the age 10 to 50 will also be eligible and allowed inside the Sabrimala. But there have been a lot of mobilization against the verdict. What is the aftermath? We'll define this in three different stages and understand in this video. This is related to agricultural produce. So the farmers produce a lot of things, their rice, wheat, the fruits and vegetable. This can be sold either to the government or to the wholesale market. If to the government, it is actually bought at an MSP. So what are the issues involved and who are the bodies which actually regulate it? We'll try to understand this. This is very important article. This is basically about, say you have a construction or a demolition activity, all the material which has been demolished or construction material, can it be reused? If yes, how can a community or municipal community or as a citizen you can actually use and recycle it, because it will save a lot of material from going into waste and the solid waste management will improve. So we'll discuss it in detail. This is about a personality known as Annapurna Devi. She's actually related to playing sitar and she recently died. So she becomes a very important personality for our exams, because usually in CAPF and CDS they usually ask questions regarding the personality and you need to name them which field is she or he related to. So this becomes important. Please remember the name Annapurna Devi. She's related to sitar playing. This is not so important articles, guys, so let's begin. So the first, oh, before that, we even have to discuss Sri Lanka because it was mentioned in the explain page. So the controversy is not so important, but I'll give you a little background. So the president here is basically Maitripala Sirisena. So he has claimed that the raw agency, that is the research and analysis wing of India, has tried to assassinate him in Sri Lanka. But these are just false claims that India says. But coming to more important thing, that Ranil Wickremesinghe, who's basically the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, is on visit to India. So that makes Sri Lanka a very important place for us. So first thing first, the capital of Sri Lanka you need to know, and also the location. It is right below the India, and you can find it right here. So the capital of Sri Lanka is basically Colombo and Sri Jayawardhanapura Kote. So they are two basically capitals which they have. Also, the reason why Sri Lanka becomes important is the recent Hambantota issue that you have seen. It is basically related, is spotted here. It has been given lease for 99 years to China. So you can see that China's invasion coming up in Sri Lanka. Also, we also have a port which is being developed by India, which is basically Trincomalee port, which is being developed by India. Also, there are some important places here like the Park Strait you can see above here, and you'll see Gulf of Mannar here. And also there is one last point called Dhanushkodi here, which is part of India. And there's a lot of fisherman issue here because there is no actually barricade or line saying this belongs to India or this belongs to Sri Lanka. So what happens is fishermen actually cross this area and they are usually captured by coast guards of each other countries, and they remain hostage for a long time and there is no information about them. So the fisherman issue among us is very important. So you can see all the important places here. You can see Jaffna here. The Sri Lanka was the Tamilians which are come from India are usually staying in Jaffna, and you understand that LTT, they were operating from Jaffna region. Moving forward, we are going to discuss about recycling of construction waste and also demolition waste. First thing first, why exactly do we need it? The environmental and public health is very important because when you demolish any building, the material will remain there. Where are you going to dump it? Even if you dump it somewhere, it's going to create waste. So first thing is it pollutes the environment. Second thing is whenever you demolish something, and there, if it rains, and there will be water collected over it, and that will be prone to mosquitoes, and then breeding will happen in the recent Zika virus outbreak, and there are a lot of diseases which comes out of mosquitoes whenever there is no cleanliness list available. So that's one reason of it. The second reason is we have actually construction and demolition management rule of 2016, which was issued by Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. So what does it say? The first thing it says is to generate awareness among citizens and the builders who are into this construction and demolition work. And the second thing is to avoid all the pollution that is created, and also the diseases which are created using this particular demolitions. Second thing is reusing the old materials. It can be the bricks, the mortar, the steels. These can be used for smaller purposes, because by recycling, what you're doing is the essential items have been segregated. Also, there is one more issue about where exactly will you keep this material till it has been recycled. Usually, if you take an example of Bangalore, there has been a mandate saying that the footpath area near the demolition will be occupied for at least 2 to 3 months with these material, and it is completely legal. But in other countries, there is actually a specific place where actually this is dumped and later it is recycled. Following which, we need to understand there are a lot of vacant spaces usually available where these materials are being dumped. So this has to be made sure that this does not capture the rights of the person who has that property. Also, we need to set an example. Who's going to set the example? It is basically the government contractor worker, or basically government construction worker, which this is basically an institution which goes on building dams or basic buildings, so they can set an example by actually recycling a lot of materials. And the next thing is the whole purpose of this to keep the urban development sustainable, because the amount of material that we are going to use, the amount of resources that we're going to use is going to end one day. So the only way out is to recycle all the available materials which we get from the construction and demolition. So this is about the cricket board, guys. The first board that we're going to discuss is basically International Cricket Council. So it has gone through various name changes. It was earlier known as Imperial Cricket Conference, followed by International Cricket Conference, and now after 1989, it's known as International Cricket Council. So the headquarters you should definitely know, it is basically in Dubai, which is in UAE, United Arab Emirates, and the chairperson for this is Shashank Manohar. Coming to the next board is basically Board of Control for Cricket in India. So the president here right now is CK Khanna. As you know that BCCI was in news in 2013 when Loda committee was formed to understand and make this or bring this body under the RTI. So this was registered under Tamil Nadu Society Regulation Act in 1928, followed by the artificial moon by China. So what they are planning to do is to substitute the street lights which are available in their roads. They want to bring in an artificial moon around 500 kilometers above the surface. So what the philosophy or the basically the technical skill behind this is basically it reflects the sunlight from the sun towards this particular area known as Chengdu region. But there are some technical issues here, because say if you miss it by an angle, it will actually illuminate a different city altogether. So here the angle is very important when you place the moon above 500 kilometer. If you notice that the our present moon is basically about 2,50,000 kilometer above our surface. So this basically one moon is basically to understand whether this is possible or not. Once possible, China is planning to release more artificial moons in order to eliminate the whole of China. Second thing is about the green crackers and the limit. So first thing first, the time limit for the firecracker has been set between 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. But there has to be more action because the pollution in Delhi cannot be stopped just by limiting the crackers timing. And ownership has to be understood. There are a lot of bodies into it, like the Central Pollution Control Board. We even have graded action plan. But let's understand the background of why pollution is increasing in New Delhi or NCR region. First thing is the stubble burning. That is basically whatever crop residue is available in Punjab and Haryana, they basically burn it. And during the southwest monsoon retreat, all these flames comes towards the New Delhi or NCR region and causes the smog. The second thing is basically the Diwali cracker, of course, and the third is basically the construction activity, because Delhi is a developing city and it is usually overcrowded and construction happens every day here. So this creates or basically relates to the amount of pollution that is created. And one of the most important thing is the vehicular pollution that happens. That's the same reason why we have brought in the odd even rule usually in this month of January, but nothing has actually worked out in the NCR region. Second thing, the last year also there was a ban on these Diwali crackers, but it didn't work out because people are very much habitual to bursting crackers when it comes to Diwali. So you cannot just ban it and hope to see the results very immediately. And this later led to smoke, and we are hoping that this time the smoke will not be created because we are taking a lot of measures. Say the graded action plan, which says that if the particulate matter or the amount of pollution reaches a particular level, we have set of action to be taken. Like we'll stop all the vehicle pollutions by stopping some of these roads. Vehicles will not be allowed. We'll start spraying water on the road. Also, odd even rule will be implemented, and there will be a lot of things which will be done once a particular limit has been reached. Also, the sales of low emission cracker has been implemented, which has been developed by CSIR. And also, if 10 to 10 p.m. is the timing to be done. The whole issue started when three or four school children said that the burning or basically the bursting of crackers is against the right to life, because this affects a lot of health of people if it's near the hospitals or even the kids. So that's why people have said that it's against our right to life. That's why please stop or ban the burning of firecrackers. The second thing is Central Pollution Control Board is doing everything that is required, even from the policy to the implementation and coordinating with the Delhi government. The graded action plan is one of such examples. Moving forward, aftermath of Sabrimala verdict. As I've already given you the brief about what the verdict was and what is the difference between rationality and the religious matter. So the whole doctrine is about finding what is essential to our religious practices. But before that, let me just tell you that the whole issue is related to the celibacy of Ayappan, because he was a brahmachari. It was considered that women between 10 to 58 should not enter this temple. But there are some counter arguments saying there are other Ayappan temples across the country where actually women are allowed. The second thing is the mobilization that has been started in Kerala is not just against the verdict, it is against the mandate the Supreme Court can actually intervene in the matter of religion. So that's the first reason why mobilization has started. The second thing is modality of social reform. As you understand, the changes like the child marriage was stopped, the sati practice was stopped. These reforms does not happen so easily. There has to be a method and slow implementation, and there has to be a behavioral change. So this model, or basically this way of implementing social reform and expecting it to get implemented immediately, will be a fool's paradise itself, because that's not going to happen so immediately. The third thing is about the moral psychology on display, because we understand two different things right now, because there are two basic things which are happening. One is Me Too campaign, where what we are doing is basically empowering women, and the second thing is about the Sabrimala, where we are stopping women from getting their basic rights or basic freedom to actually preach, practice their own religion. So these are the two things. And also there's one thing which we are seeing is basically the Hindus here as trying to act as a victim, because they think their religion has been violated by the judiciary. Moving forward, this is an important body. Please remember this. This is known as NAFED, also known as National Agricultural Cooperative Market Federation of India. So the whole job of this is to procure all the material, say fruits, say wheat, rice, from the farmers and sell it at a price and buy it at a MSP, minimum support price. So this body was formed on 1958, and this works directly under Ministry of Agriculture in Government of India. So there are three important things that you need to understand when it comes to procurement. Whenever something is procured, any rice, wheat, it has to be given a minimum support price, so that their manufacturing cost, or basically the amount spent in sowing fertilizers, have been given back. The second thing is about the cold storage, because last year there was a lot of wheat that was collected, but we didn't have enough places, though all of got rotten. So the second thing is developing these cold storage chains where you can store all these materials properly. And the third thing is basically creating food processing areas where you can process all these food, convert this raw material into final goods. Say if you have wheat, you can convert it into biscuits by using these processing plants. Third thing is about connecting the farmers with the company directly. Let's understand this with an example. Say there is a company, say Reliance Fresh. So it connects to a farmers, 10 to 15 farmers, and say you actually farm all the tomatoes, potatoes, and the rice, and we will buy you all these things at a particular fixed price directly, irrespective of what the market price is. Such coordination and trades can be happen if we have a memorandum between these private parties and the farmers. So this is one of the solution which can be implemented. So let's revise what and all we discuss. First thing is this body known as NAFED, also known as National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, followed by the aftermath of Sabrimala verdict and the green crackers on the limit of timing that has been implemented in NCR region. We discussed about the artificial moon which will be launched by China over the Chengdu region, the technicalities which are involved in it. If you miss by an angle, you will eliminate a different city altogether. And we discussed about the cricket boards, the ICC and BCCI, and also the recycle of construction waste. Also, if you don't know, the BCI headquarter is basically located in Mumbai, and also the recycle of construction waste. And then we discussed the map of Sri Lanka. Thank you, and that's all for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you please liked it, please subscribe and also share it among your friends. Thank you and have a nice day. Jai Hind.